I did something kind of stupid just before we started recording.
I'm not surprised.
Welcome to Multiple Nerdgasm with your hosts, Matt, Luke, and Dan. Multiple Nerdgasm, your guide to all things nerdy.
I was reading an article, and a lot of people, for some reason, doing covers of songs in The Last of Us 2.
Oh yeah, I've seen
And
that.
one of the ones they've done is Hurt.
Yep.
So,
I saw this headline and it annoyed me, I think.
I went and watched the music clip for the Johnny Cash cover.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And I got a little sad.
Yeah, man.
It's quite
Oh, you're a
cheery.
downer now.
Like
Mark
few
Romanek
tears
directed
and,
that, and he originally didn't intend to have any of that archival footage in there, but he found out that he didn't really have enough to cut together of just kind of Johnny sitting around looking sad. So he was like, well, what do I have the right
He's too happy.
well, no, I mean, he put in a whole bunch of shots of him looking happy 50 years ago.
Okay.
And it just suddenly made that clip so sad.
But then
Right.
you see, like, his wife's there, like, watching him as well, and she's, like, nearly in tears, and he's singing, and oh my God.
Well, I saw the reason I got annoyed is because I saw the headline on some website that said people can't stop covering Johnny Cash's song "Hurt" in The Last of Us, and I was like, it's not Johnny Cash's song.
Yeah.
That was a cover.
I think you'll be proud of me. I did call it Johnny Cash's cover,
Yes, I know.
except his version is a lot better.
Well, it's not. So
It's very
just a
different.
guy on a guitar, just
I
a
love
guy
them both.
doing a cover of a Nine Inch Nails song on guitar and singing it. There's nothing better about it. It's fine.
I don't know.
What do you mean?
I do think, for some reason, I like that version a lot better.
Do you like Nine Inch Nails?
I love Nine Inch Nails.
Apparently you don't.
Well,
Look,
well,
Disrespected him live here on the podcast.
Matt, controversially, I mean, it's been one of my favorite songs since the 90s, but when Johnny covered it, I thought he's taken it to a level that Trent never did. So
Really?
Well, that's the whole thing. Trent actually says, like, it's he actually thinks that song's found at home with Johnny Cash. He actually thinks his version is better.
I don't necessarily think it's better. I mean, it's not it's not a better arrangement, or the musicality is not better. But
I think it's just more powerful.
he just found a sadness in that song that was less self-deprecating than when Trent sings it, and is more just tragic.
Well, the way Trent's version of it goes is sort of like a young person sort of turning towards all those bad things, whereas Johnny Cash like spins it like he's an old one remembering what's happened, what he's done throughout his life, and
There you go, listeners. The secret of a successful cover is to be a sad old man.
I mean, I'm trying to get success by being a sad old man across the board, Matt. Not just with my covers.
Yeah.
I don't really do covers, to be honest.
You got a sad old man TikTok account yet?
No, I don't. I don't have a TikTok.
Oh, I've deleted TikTok.
Have you?
Yeah, TikTok is snooping on your clipboard.
Yes, it really
So I
is.
Yeah,
and
so
they
I
admitted
deleted
it when they got called out on it. They're like,
Well, they couldn't help it,
You don't like
yeah,
that?
because the new version of iOS has a bunch of new security features, one of which is it tells you when shit's snooping on your clipboard. So TikTok was grabbing
Mind
the
you,
contents of your clipboard.
Just to put
Fucking
this
weird.
into perspective, it's just grabbing data, right? It doesn't actually care about you, or like anytime I see TikTok watching you news, it's always China is listening. And it's like, well, what do you mean by that? I mean, TikTok's a privately owned company in China, right? It's not the Chinese government spying.
everything's owned by the Chinese government.
I mean, I'm not particularly I wasn't really thinking about why or who's doing it, but I use password managers and stuff like that. Like, if you stealing my passwords out of my clipboard, fuck off.
Yeah, no, I'm not defending them. I'm just, I don't know. I think you're right to delete it.
There's no reason at all that TikTok needs to take the contents of my, like, what I'm copying and pasting on my phone. Like, there's no reason for that. So, like, I honestly, and they didn't even bother trying to justify it. They just said, yeah, we will stop doing that.
Now that you've caught us.
Good. Yeah, do that.
Yeah,
stop.
Not even like it's sorry or it was an accident, because you can't accidentally do that.
Yeah, right.
No, they're mining for data.
I mean, that's my first thought, is they're trying to steal people's passwords. Like, what else would they be trying to pinch?
I doubt it's that malicious. I think, I mean, of course they could, but I think they're more likely just trying to find statistics. What are people saying about each other? What are they looking at?
Just selling information.
Yeah.
Yeah, it could be.
You know, speaking of things you could do as an old man that you couldn't do when you were young, I did something this week that I've been trying to do since I was 15, unsuccessfully until now.
Is this something Marilyn Manson could do? Due to having some ribs removed?
Yeah, that's right. I've got massively less chance of doing that now, I tell you, than I ever did. I had no chance back then, and I've got less of a chance now.
More ribs.
Something popped into my head the other day that I hadn't thought about in a long time, decades even, and I thought, I'll give that a try. And to my surprise and delight, I apparently can now, after 20 plus 30 maybe years of trying, I can do magic eyes.
You know the posters where you've got to relax your eyes and you see the 3D image.
Never did them. Had a book in my house. My entire family could see it, and they'd be like, look, a sailboat. And I was like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, I've never been able to do them.
Yeah.
So I guess maybe I should try then.
Try it now.
Do you think maybe it's because your eyes are going?
Yeah, maybe. No, actually, it's because, so there's a bunch, you Google image search, you find heaps, right? Basically, once you train your eye to do one, you can see as many as you want. Like, you just know how to do it. And there's one that you can get. So if you Google it and you want to really do it, Google Magic Eye with guides, right? And it's actually got 2 dots above the picture, and it says focus your eyes here, and then it kind of makes you a tiny bit cross-eyed, and then it says, okay, now glance down in the middle of the picture with your eyes still in that direction. And when you do, your eyes are at the right place to see it. And then once you've seen one, you kind of know how to do it. But I was always so jealous of people.
Yeah, I can't do them either.
I've always been able to do it, but I've always found them pretty disappointing.
I wonder if there's
I
adult
wouldn't know.
ones.
Oh, is this the one with it's got like the flowers? And then you place your finger outside, you gently pull them apart. Pull my eyes apart? All right, then. Well, now I can't see anything.
Yeah, that's the magic of eyes.
That's interesting.
It ends up hurting your eyes though, because forcing yourself not to focus is quite painful.
Yes, because it's actually you're looking at one focal plane, but you're focused on a different imaginary focal plane behind that.
Yeah, okay.
And yes, it is it is awful on your eyes.
Yeah.
My eyes aren't where they used to be anyway.
Mine is still all right, I think. I don't have glasses or anything.
Yeah,
so.
you two have managed to avoid...
I have no idea how.
Yeah, I was going to say... Of all the people, I would have thought Luke would have glasses.
Well, I mean, we all spend a lot of time looking at screens. I mean, the optometrists say that's what ruined my eyes.
Oh, yes, looking at screens. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm surrounded by them.
Why is Luke looking so shifty? Do you not look at screens?
Yeah, I know.
We really don't know what you do for a living, do we?
No. I was doing the whole joke of like another reason why you go blind.
Right. I'm sorry, Luke. I can't see you. I can't see you, mate.
No. No, because I'm always screwed. I used to read in the dark. I used to be like, I've treated my eyes terribly, and they still work.
I mean, surely reading in the dark strengthens your eyes, right? I mean, like going to the gym.
No, apparently not.
No,
apparently
not.
Puts unnecessary strain on them. Yeah.
Train.
That's what they used to tell us anyway.
But they also said, like, don't sit close to your screen.
They
and
say
stuff
all
like
sorts
that.
of dumb stuff.
Yeah.
I don't think they know.
They say the sun gives you cancer. Okay, I'll stay out of the sun then, will I?
Yeah. Yeah, it's just...
and then you get in trouble because you don't have enough vitamin D.
Yeah.
I'll give you the vitamin D.
Promises.
I've told Tim Cook that he can go fuck himself. And I've bought myself a PC. I said I was going to do it.
Welcome.
I said I was going to do it.
Yeah, that's true. You did.
Is this your first PC?
The last PC that I owned was not my own. It was my dad's. So I've never owned one. And it was a Pentium 100. And the last Windows that I used was Windows 95.
Yuck.
So I assume it's
wow.
I assume it's the same, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's exactly the same.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. I'll remember how to use it then.
Exactly. Yeah, giant icons on a low resolution screen.
Yeah.
And very
15-inch monitor I had with that Pentium one.
15-inch.
15.
That was pretty good back then.
It was good because everyone else had a 14-inch that I knew, and then Dad brought home the 15. I was like, fucking yeah.
I remember Dave always had the better stuff first. Mm-hmm. So he always got, he got a 17-inch monitor, and I was like, fuck.
17 inches felt awfully big. Zing.
Playing Vampire the Masquerade Redemption
Oh, yeah.
on his overclocked Pentium 300 or something.
Mate, I was playing that on my Power Mac G4,
Oh, yeah.
which wasn't meant to be able to play it at all.
Yeah, well, I'm sure I've told this stupid story before, but I used to, because, with Windows 95, it ran on top of DOS. So
Yeah.
no, it wasn't 95, it was Windows 3.1. Windows 3.1 had extended memory, like virtual memory. And so I could trick my computer into thinking it had enough RAM to play Duke Nukem 3D.
Ooh.
Except it was using RAM, like it was using swap space. And so it was unplayable, but it worked.
And you played it a lot.
And because as a kid, I was kind of more interested in making it work than playing the game for some reason. Like,
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Man, I had a shareware version of that for so many years that I only played the first 3 levels. And I played them so often that now I can put it on 30 years later and just
know it.
Yep.
Just do it. Just play it. Know where every enemy is, know where every item is.
It's like Doom. First few levels of Doom. I'm just like, there's a guy over there.
The first Doom or Doom 2?
But yeah, the second you get to the part where you had to have paid for the game, I've got no idea.
I've got less of an idea. I was more familiar with Doom 2 than Doom 1. I think I know Doom 2 better.
Oh, sure. Hell on earth.
But yeah, got myself a PC laptop.
What'd you get?
So after thinking a lot and a lot of deliberation, I have ended up with. I figured since I'm going to be on Windows, I might as well get myself a Microsoft machine. So I've ended up with the Surface laptop, 15-inch.
Cool.
And ahed about what specs to get. Ended up thinking I should probably future-proof, and so I basically got the most spec'd out one that is available here.
Cool.
So it's not a hardcore gaming laptop or anything like that, but it's certainly going to...
No, but it should play some stuff.
Yeah, it's certainly going to play a lot more than my fucking Mac plays, that's for sure.
You'll probably be surprised about what it can play, because it's not like 20 years ago where if you didn't upgrade your computer within 3 months, you couldn't play the next game. Games now, you can buy a computer and it's good for 3 years.
Yeah, and honestly, like I'm going to still be using my console for most of my gaming. It's really just Steam games and that kind of thing that I'm interested in. And
stuff that you can't play on the Cockbox.
Yeah.
Like Disco Elysium.
Yeah, well, it's funny you should say that, Luke, because I'm actually playing that again. We mentioned last week that we discovered there was a hardcore mode. I decided to give it a go.
Mm-hmm. How's that going?
Worth it just because when you actually click the box onto hardcore, you hear Kuno go, hardcore! And that makes you feel good. So, yeah.
Try that.
It's difficult. It's basically nothing gives you skill points. So you just very, very rarely have anything that you can upgrade. So you're basically just relying on making good choices in your conversation trees and
making sure you're wearing the right clothes.
Yeah. But then again, everything only gives you a +1 or a maximum of +2 with your clothing items anyway. So you've just got to take your losses more with this playthrough. But it's interesting because all 3 of my playthroughs have been very different. I mean, if the story's the same, but it's just the attitudes of the players around you that change depending on your way of playing.
Interesting.
Yeah. But the funny thing is, because I mean, it's the only game I've ever played 3 times in the space of a couple of months. But it doesn't. The reason it doesn't feel repetitive is because it's about somebody who's suffering from memory loss and has hazy recollections anyway, and slips in and out of a dream, and it feels like the familiar things, especially when now I'm on hardcore mode and I can't do things that I know I should be able to do. Just feels like I'm just that kind of depressed, alcoholic, amnesiac cop that I'm playing as anyway. So it's interesting.
Did you see? It's a spoilery question that I want to ask.
Go on.
Spoil away.
All right, spoilers for Disco Elysium. Just skip ahead a little bit if you don't want to hear a Disco Elysium spoiler. There's not going to be much to it, I don't think. But I want to know: did you find it? Did you found it?
And
did you
took a picture of it?
Photo with it?
Yeah.
Yeah, you get a photo with it.
Yeah, I did.
Oh.
I did. And man, the people online that haven't, Because evidently, it's not a given that you find that. Because people are people are on the forums on Reddit just going, "What the fuck are you guys talking about?"
Man, I got a photo with it.
Yeah,
Kim was fucking beside himself.
Yeah.
Oh,
Did you?
see, that's not a spoiler. That just makes me want to play the game more.
Did you show anyone the photo?
Yeah, at the end.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be famous.
So now that you've played it, Matt, there's something that happened to me the first playthrough that didn't happen to me in the second one at all, and hasn't happened to me the third time yet so far. And that is, did you get the urge to masturbate and have to decide whether or not to whip your cock out and jerk off in front of Kim and everyone else who was around?
I did not.
Okay, so the first time around, I think it's because the order that you do things determines what missions you get as well. Because the first time I played it, it took me ages to find my badge, so I couldn't prove to the union rep that I was a cop.
Sure.
Right? So she said that she would only give the information that I wanted if I found out who was dealing drugs out of the lorries. Right?
Yeah.
And I haven't done that since because I found my ID early enough that doesn't come up. Right? So while I was going through the lorries, I found out, because there's a traffic jam, for those who don't know, the entire game happens on 2 city blocks, right? Yeah. You can't go to the north because there's a factory that's closed and there's strike workers picketing outside. There's a traffic jam of lorries to one end, and then for most of the game, there's a bridge out on the other end. You can't go anywhere.
Yeah.
While going through the lorries, I found a postcard that was a pin-up girl. Did you find that?
I don't think so.
Yeah. So it's only when you do certain things that you even can get into this one particular truck to look around. I found
Fuck me, now I got to play the game.
I found this card, right, and I kept carrying it around with me, and every now and again I take it out and look at it, right? And at one point, my psyche started saying to me, "You're just too aroused now. You're gonna have to release some of this tension." And he's like, "But Kim's right here," and it's like, doesn't matter, he'll understand. And I was like, no, I'm not going to fucking do it. So I didn't do it, and I lost health and morale for not doing it. I almost died because I didn't want to masturbate in public.
Oh, man. What a game.
On the hardcore mode, could you do it, see what happens?
I'll see. Well, I haven't encountered that mission yet, so we'll see what happens.
What a fucking game.
It's so good that evidently now it's getting a television series.
Yeah, don't know how I feel about this.
I know. I saw the headline and I was like, "That can't be real." No, that's the story. It's becoming it's being adapted by the guy who produced the Sonic the Hedgehog movie.
All right, there's quite a bit to unpack here. Look, this is a runaway hit. I can understand why Hollywood's trying to jump on it. I can understand.
I like the fact that they're doing it as a television show over a movie, though.
Yeah, definitely.
From the way you guys explain it, I think it makes more sense as a movie.
Although I would have said the same. I would have said the same about Watchmen, and that show was fucking disgraceful.
I don't think you can make this into a. I mean, sure. I'm sure they will, and like it can be done, but it's not going to be the same.
You think maybe they'll try one of those things like choose your own adventure?
Oh, I hope they don't. Honestly, but it already is that. Because it's you don't dodge things, you don't jump. There's no levels. This is essentially an interactive story, so they've already got that. And you could do a film of this if you did it like a kind of Jacob's Ladder, like Dream Within a Dream, weird hazy nightmare type thing. You could do it, but the fact that they're like, oh, who's done an adaptation of a video game recently? Oh, let's get the Sonic guy to do it.
Yeah. I just don't see the reason that it works is because you have to choose from these ridiculous options that are nothing you choose in it is the ideal solution, and that's part of the charm of the game for me is that right, here's 3 shit options. Which one do you want to go with? And then just fucking watch this disaster
At
unfold.
one point, I was playing it earlier today. I had a couple of options, and the last option were, seriously, you're not going to give me any other options?
So I just don't see how you can capture that aspect of it, and for me, that's what it is. That's the
because that'll go, and it'll just be superficially the story
choices
of
you have to make.
Cop going around.
Yeah.
And if you want that, there is a very good movie already called. Fuck, I'm gonna have to Google this.
Paul Blart.
Oh, I want to talk about Paul Blart in one sec too, actually.
Oh, fuck.
Really?
Okay. Yeah. I actually do.
Was not expecting that to go anywhere.
No. I'd forgotten that, but it's saved here. So remind me about Paul Blart in just a sec, but I want to talk about... I'm just going to...
I'll try and remember.
Just going to look up Joaquin Phoenix and look up a movie he did a couple of years ago called... Someone's yelling at their fucking iPhone right now on the bus. Sorry about this. It's called...
Is that what that noise is?
It's called Inherent Vice. And
Inherent Vice.
Inherent Vice. It's good. I suggest you do watch it. It's set in the 70s in LA, and it's got Joaquin Phoenix as a drug-fucked detective who gets himself in over his head when he tries to investigate stuff. And weirdness piles up on weirdness.
All right.
And it's kind of like what this would be if you didn't control it and if you weren't inside his mind. If you just want to watch a story like this, then this is it.
Yeah. I just don't think... I mean, look, that does sound good. I mean, maybe the TV series will be good, but I just don't see the point of it. It's not going to be the same, I don't think. I don't see how it could be. So why bother?
Well,
Just make something else.
What I'm getting the impression of, because they haven't found like who's going to stream it, they've got to write it. Just to me, it sounds like the producer just liked the game and wants to expand it.
I like the game. I still don't want it to be a TV series.
Yeah.
I just don't see...
But wait and see.
Because the whole way the story unfolds, the whole way like the way the world is and all that kind of stuff, it's not even... It doesn't make sense. Like, it's not... I don't see how it's going to work. Anyway.
You never know.
Matt, did you tell her that it was beautiful when you saw it?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Such an amazing moment.
I didn't expect it, I'll be honest.
No. Even though there's a couple of people telling you it's there.
Yeah. I've gone back to a game. We talked about this briefly, and I'm not going to mention it too much, but I did go back to a game. I was looking for something to pick up after I finished... what did I finish? I think I just didn't feel like playing on my computer anymore.
Probably played Witcher 3 for the 7th time.
Yeah. No, I've gone back to Red Dead Redemption 2. After playing it for, I guess, a couple of hours, I was like, oh, I'm addicted again. Okay.
Really? Okay, that's great. Matt's in cowboy mode.
Yeah, I noticed... I figured out how to get to the... So there is... no one corrected me on this. There is a quest log.
Is there?
Yeah, it's just not... if you tap the left D-pad button, it comes up with the quest log. And then you can look at... There's like quests and challenges and other stuff in there. So there's that. You can fast travel. Yep. I don't know whether that's something I just unlocked at some point or if they patched the game. But yeah, I can fast travel fucking anywhere.
What?
Oh, you can now? Because I remember...
How do you fast travel?
Yeah.
You make a camp.
Yeah.
And then from the camp, you can travel anywhere. I feel like that's how it worked in Red Dead Redemption.
It was.
1.
So you can travel places that you have had a camp, or you can travel to anywhere you've been?
I believe anywhere where there's wagons, like stagecoaches, drop off.
Yeah, I think so. Well, no, not even, because you ride your horse there. You just choose... They're named locations. Like, for example, I could say, take me to Valentine, and it'll show... He'll kick the fire out, and then it'll show like a little montage as it's loading, and then it'll show a little video of him riding the horse into town with the widescreen bars, and then the bars will lift, and then I'm there.
Okay.
Yeah. So the game starts off very slow, and then you unlock that where you can actually sort of jump around the map a bit faster, and then it slows down again at the end.
See, I don't know at what point it unlocked. It's just there.
It's always been there, but a lot of the time you just end up riding where you're going.
I do. I found that because you encounter stuff. Like I found, no spoilers please, because I'm kind of getting into this again, right? So I solved the mystery of the serial killer.
Oh,
so
did you?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I did that last night.
Interesting.
And then also, the one I'm on the trail of now is the Night Folk. I don't know if you've encountered that.
No.
This fucking, I don't know. I don't want to spoil it.
Now I want to play this again.
I'm riding through the bayou, and then there's this fucking man hung from a tree just in the road, and I'm like, the fuck? So I stop and I'm looking at it, and then I get off the horse and I'm like, the fuck's going on? And then all of a sudden these fucking people with like painted faces come charging out of the fucking swamp, So I'm like, fuck. So I'm shooting them all. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? So I shoot the guy down, and he's got this piece of paper that says, they're no longer in my dreams. They've come for me in the waking world. The
That's
night folk."
great.
So I'm like,
Holy shit.
okay, I'm into it.
Yeah. See, that stuff's cool. But
Yeah.
like, I just remember
I know, I don't
15-minute
care about the main
sequences where I'm just
storyline.
like riding around with some sheriff and he's telling me all about the town I'm going to, and I just
Yeah.
It's a great
Last
game.
night I was playing, and then I went back to camp, and Dutch was like, Arthur, can I speak to you? And I was like, no, I'm busy. I don't care about the main quest.
yeah.
Don't care.
I'm looking
It's
for
a
all the
great
weird
game.
Lovecraftian stuff that's out there. Okay,
Yeah, exactly.
I've got no
But
time for
unless
you.
you got some creepy shit for me, Dutch, I'm not interested.
But yeah, you can't just pick it up, play for half an hour, and put it down. You have to give it. You have to
Yeah.
sit down and be prepared to give it a few hours of your life each time.
Yeah. I hunted a legendary bear,
Ooh.
finally. It's
I'm
pretty
gonna
good.
go back and
then
play
went,
it again.
went
now.
back inside and played a bit of Red Dead.
Yeah, that's right. But yeah, now that I've like got the controls, I feel like I just need to fucking finish the game before I don't play it for a couple of months, come back, and I'm like, how the fuck do I reload my gun? Like,
Interesting. Yeah, well, exactly right.
with like the muscle memory for the controls is back now. So
Okay, so I've been playing Disco Elysium again. Matt's been playing Red Dead again. Luke, what have you been playing?
Sort of nothing.
what? I don't believe you.
All right, I have played a couple of games.
Yeah, come on, mate.
Finished a couple of games.
He just doesn't want to admit what they are.
Oh, what have I'm actually
Some
started
weird
playing.
hentai game or something,
I've
just for the achievements.
been playing Resident
Wink.
Evil 5 on the PC
Okay.
Oh yeah,
because
Resident Evil 5, isn't that the terrible one in Haiti?
yes,
Okay.
it is terrible.
Jesus.
But I found out that on Steam you can actually install a version of it that you still get Xbox achievements. So I've been
Okay.
playing that.
Is it at
It
least
is- it's
is it at
really
least
hard.
easy? Oh no, it's not.
No,
Okay.
no, it's actually it's easy to play. It's the
Hard to
game
get
is easy.
achievements.
It's just hard to play because it's so terrible.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
Like the controls are bad, the story's bad.
It was such a shame that series went off the rails because the first couple of Resident Evil games were great.
I've got 7. 7's evidently meant to be really good, but it's nothing like the other games. Like it's you're some crazed family's trying to kill you or something. I really should play it.
We have that. Actually, Jenna was playing that. I just remembered we have the disc for that somewhere.
Yeah, I was actually thinking of re-looking at an older game, the Mad Max game. And
yeah.
I love.
but I
played that.
I
That was
realized,
good.
yeah, it was good. It was good, and I started thinking I never finished that. Did you guys finish it?
No, me either.
Yeah,
No.
but I was. Oh, you
Yeah,
did,
Luke
yeah,
did,
of
obviously.
course. But I was thinking,
You get an achievement for finishing it. So.
I'd have to
Yes.
literally go looking for the disc. You know?
Oh,
Oh,
that's right. You're still buying discs, aren't you?
No, I mean I'm not. I haven't for years,
Ah.
but at that point I was. That might have been the last one I
I
bought.
have it. Isn't it on Game Pass? Is that how I was playing it?
No, I don't think it is.
I must own it.
Earlier than that. Do you guys want to
Oh,
know
but
why I have some follow-up Paul Blart Mall Cop news?
Oh, yeah.
yes.
Sorry. Yes.
I don't
Please.
really have any news per se, but
They're
I
not
watched-
making a
is
third
there
one or
news?
something.
No. I watched a film this week called Becky, which is pretty good. It's a horror movie.
Oh, is this someone where he's like a stalker or something?
He's a neo-Nazi. This is Kevin James,
Oh.
who's
I've
just
seen
that
the poster, I think.
guy who's in all the fucking Adam Sandler and that other guy from
King of Queens, is that the show he's in?
Yeah,
Is that the
Oh,
one?
He's
Yeah.
in one of those shows.
Yeah, something like that.
generally unfunny guy, and certainly unfunny in this, except it's not a comedy. He's got a shaved head and an enormous bushy beard and a swastika tattoo on his neck, and he's fucking
okay.
terrifying. And apparently, he's a really good actor.
He's
just-
just apparently he's really a neo-Nazi.
He's
yeah, method actor.
they didn't put the makeup on him this time.
They just took the makeup off his neck.
But this movie also has Joel McHale in it. This plays out like a
And it's
super
not a
low
comedy.
budget. It's no. It's a horror movie. It's like a slasher horror thriller. The premise is some a group of neo-Nazis escape from prison, and they hide out in this house in the woods. So careful, Matt, because you got a house in the woods. Where's your nearest prison?
Shit. Next prison? No, wouldn't have a clue.
Yeah, well, find out where it is.
Yeah.
And they take the whole family hostage, except this one little girl called Becky is outside. And so it basically turns into an adult version of Home Alone, where she slowly murders all of the criminals.
Neo-Nazis.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, it's good.
Okay.
Yeah, I liked it.
Is John McHale a neo-Nazi in it?
I wish he was a neo-Nazi. We do have,
or
we
just in
do have
general?
some racism community news, though.
Oh, we do, yeah.
If you want to segue to that.
This is a weird one.
Yeah,
It is weird, but also
No,
I
get
understand. And in fact, this is what we've been talking about in the past, where Luke, for example, has said there's nothing inherently wrong with painting your face black other than the context.
Yeah. Yes. So in Community on the D&D episode,
Famous episode.
one of it's Chang
yes.
he dresses as a dark elf.
Yeah.
Yes.
So he's painted his skin like pitch black.
And the whole
And all
joke
black.
in that is he's taken all this time to get into character, and that's going to be who he is, and he dies in the first 30 seconds. Like, that's the whole
Right.
joke.
Yeah.
That he's sort of committed so much.
And
then,
to be clear, he's not portraying
He's
an
an elf.
African American. He's
portraying a
he's
fictional
a
character.
jet black elf.
Yeah,
but of
fictional.
course, it's. I mean, they're not idiots, so they obviously knew it was a provocative image. But then again, he's.
Yeah.
Can I just say, we watched through Community recently. We put it back from the first, and we're like, why did we stop watching this? This show's great. It's like really, really great for 2 seasons, and then it's next level awful. As soon as Jeff becomes a teacher at the school, and their study group becomes a committee.
Yeah.
the whole thing's quite weird, because with that, like, what's his name? Pierce. Why can I not remember his name?
Oh, Chevy Chase.
Chevy Chase. Evidently, he did not get along well with people on that show. Like, famously.
I saw there's an interview with Dan Harmon about that, and then he was saying how Chevy Chase apparently didn't know that he wasn't getting along with everybody, and so there was this awkward moment where Chevy Chase had this big meltdown because he felt like someone should have said something because he didn't realize he was being a prick.
But it's one
You know
of those
what I mean?
things where he's sort of been famous for that his entire career.
Yeah,
Like,
I guess
even
he just doesn't understand. And he's
even
being-
once when he went back to host Saturday Night Live, like, he got in a fist fight with Bill Murray before it went on, and that's why he was never allowed back.
Because Dan Harmon does that podcast now.
Yeah.
The reason he told the story is because the reason he does the podcast now is because he used to just do them live at this little venue in New York, and somebody recorded the one where he told the story about how everyone disliked Chevy Chase on set, and Chevy Chase saw it and got upset because he was like, "Why didn't you tell me?" And then they had that big falling out or something like that. I think that's what he said. Anyway.
I think he still does his podcast live, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
No, he does. But that's why he started doing it, is because he was like, well, if other people are going to record it, I'll self-share it.
Yeah, right.
That way, if I say something dumb, it's my fault that it got out.
Can I don't want to get controversial here, right? But I just want to say something that I noticed this week that actually surprised me. Did you guys know, and you probably did, the 4 men who have been charged with the George Floyd killing,
Yes.
only 2 of them are white. One of them is Asian,
Yes.
and one of them is African American.
Yeah.
I did not know that. I just assumed it was
okay.
4 hillbillies.
Nah. Yeah, I heard a pretty compelling argument that it seems like they didn't mean to kill him. They're just useless, is what it seems to be the takeaway here. Like, and this happens often enough that it's like they need more training. Like,
Yeah, it comes
Like-
down to, like, it really does seem a lot of time that excessive use of force is happening more with people of color than white. And even you see in, like, the shootings that happen. Like, a mass shooting, if they're white, they seem to be captured. But then you get someone pulled over for having no weapon on them, not done anything wrong, and they end up getting shot.
Yeah. Well, there was another case where this similar thing happened, but it was a white guy, but they were restraining him by sitting on him, and he died.
Right.
And they just apparently were too fucking stupid to realize you can't crush a man without killing him.
Yeah.
Like, and then it's possible that in this case too, like,
So in other words, there is racism, of course, but also there's just incompetence.
it's a combination of racism combined with just complete lack of understanding about how much force is acceptable and how much you're going to fucking kill somebody.
Well, I know the psychiatric medicine industry is picketing for police to not be able to get involved when people with mental illness are I don't know even how to phrase it. Getting
Having
into,
an incident.
getting into trouble. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because, but they're basically saying they shouldn't be treated like other criminals. That it's a very specific case, and you're not in any way trained to deal with it.
Yeah.
And it seems like there's a lot of situations that are not actually really trained to deal with.
Well, because the other thing too is, and like I hadn't thought of this, but as a, and this doesn't apply to the George Floyd case at all. But in a lot of situations, the thing to remember that I guess I'd never thought of this in the US, anybody could have a gun, and if a cop gets involved in a fight of any sort or an altercation, the first thing that they're going to think of is, I've got a fucking gun. Like, this person could get my gun, and then so it's just a factor that's not there in, say, like the UK or somewhere where they don't.
Well, I mean, besides that, Matt, it's a gun culture. You know, like
anybody else could have one,
Yeah.
and you've got one. So if you get into a fight, even a fist fight, like if someone punches a cop out, well, now there's a fucking gun available.
yeah.
Like,
Oh yeah, I never thought of that.
there needs to be some real fucking changes, and probably there won't be, but we'll see.
I think one of the changes that they're pushing forward now, and I think a few places are actually starting to sign off on it, is police won't be going out to sort of non-criminal things like noise complaints and things
that's
like
good.
that.
That's
Like they're actually
interesting,
trying
yeah.
to bring up like other things, other services to go out to, things like that, and then cops go out for, hey,
Criminals.
there's someone robbing this place,
Yeah, yeah.
instead of, hey, my neighbour's been a bit loud, or
That's such a
things like
simple
that.
but great idea, isn't it? Because, I mean, like all of these things that, as you say, noise complaints and stuff, that's what they start off as. And then someone freaks out because they got meth in the house, and then they start acting all shifty, and then someone gets shot.
Yeah.
Whereas that wouldn't happen if the person who came out has the authority to tell you to turn off your fucking music, but doesn't have the authority to search your house for meth.
well, you've actually even seen times where people have called the police because there have been people sort of outside. They've gone outside to meet the police, and then they've been shot.
Yes.
Yeah.
That
Well,
does
one
actually,
of the cases that people are tweeting about a lot, I think Breonna Taylor,
yes,
she got shot because the cops burst into the wrong house.
Oh,
It was a
yep.
no-knock
They
thing, and they
didn't-
burst
yeah,
in.
they didn't announce themselves, busted in, and then
The boyfriend shot at them because he
Because
didn't know
there's-
what the fuck was going on, and then she got shot.
because
I think, right?
a bunch of guys wearing all black burst into the room with guns. This guy's panicked and tried to
Yeah.
defend himself,
Mm-hmm.
shot, and then
And
they've
then
killed
she's got
her.
shot.
Wow.
And it was wrong
Yeah.
house. The person that they were even looking for was already in custody.
Wow.
Yeah, fucked up.
I've noticed something odd that I think is odd. In the last couple of weeks, I would expect to see absolutely no cases of police shooting black people. Because if I was a cop, even if
Yeah,
I was a
you'd be trying.
racist cop, I wouldn't be fucking
Yeah.
touching my
Yeah.
gun at the moment.
Guys, we should probably dial back on it for a little while.
Exactly. I'm surprised a memo hasn't gone around. Like, do not do it. But
Yeah.
it still happens. But then I guess that just shows how often it happens. I read a quote the other day that says, police haven't just started shooting back black people. Police have just started being filmed shooting black people.
Well, it's one of those things, like, watching the show Cops, watching the Australian version is very different to watching the American version.
yeah.
You watch the American one, their guns are out from the second there's a call and all that. In Australia,
Yeah.
it's like you get guys walking up like, what's going on here?
It's cultural, I think. It's like, like you said, it's a gun culture where anybody could have a gun, so you just need to get on top of things. Kind of.
Well,
like,
Australian
part of the
cops
problem.
have guns, but they're not
Fuck, man.
allowed to use
No,
them.
no.
I wouldn't want to be a cop here, man.
The
Fucking
thing,
hell.
that's the thing. In America, there's a good chance that the person you're pulled over, they could
Yes.
have a gun.
Absolutely.
And
that's why tensions are already
Fucking
at fucking 100.
terrifying. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Christ.
whereas in Australia, you don't really have to go for your gun as much because, while you can get guns here, it's not as easy.
Because I do think, like, if you're a cop and someone's fucking doing something and you suspect they're going to get violent with you, what are you supposed to do? Like, I wouldn't want to be.
No, you're right. I'm glad I'm not a cop too. I'm glad I'm not a cop. Some reform that's already started happening around the world. A couple of recastings. The white guy who plays Cleveland in
Yes.
Family Guy and Cleveland Show has stepped down. Hank Azaria has stepped down from playing Apu, which I think happened already, but that's
Yeah, he did it a little while back.
That's a
There's a
thing.
documentary about the problem with Apu, right? And then
yeah. The Archbishop of Canterbury came out this week and admitted for the first time in the history of the church that maybe Jesus wasn't white, and that they can think about having different nationalities, possibly even a Middle Eastern depiction of Jesus. So that's good.
Oh, you mean like the way that he would have
Might have
actually
actually been? Yeah. Just like
I
that.
say, yeah, I'm being careful because I don't know whether he really existed or not.
Mm.
But if he did, he was a Middle Eastern man.
Certainly, if we know anything
question.
about him, it's that he was from the Middle East.
Unless it really was a miracle. And
Just a white baby.
One fucking
You'd
white
think
guy walking around.
Yeah, you'd think there'd be a mention of that, right? Because actually that
Yes.
point in the Bible
It was
where
Immaculate Conception.
when
It could
they're-
have looked like anything.
when they're in the olive grove and the centurions arrive to arrest him and they say, which one is he? And Judas has to point him out by kissing him, but which I never really understood because he could have just pointed and said, that's him there. But if one guy was just lily white, he probably could have just been like, it's white
Kuno.
guy.
Jesus looked like Kuno.
The fuck does Jesus care?
Yeah, he not white.
No, not white.
So interesting.
On that same note, L'Oreal, the cosmetics company, have decided to remove the word whitening as a plus from all of their creams.
Do you remember that stuff they sold over at the Zamzam market in Auburn? The whitening
Everywhere here.
skin whitener. It was called,
Everywhere
right?
here. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
That was weird.
People here.
I'd never seen that before.
Yeah.
I saw it on the shelf, and I picked it up, and I'm like, well, that can't be what it sounds like. I'm just projecting some weird thing where I think everything's funny, and then I'm looking at it, reading it, and I'm like, no, this is like they sell that,
And it's less to do with wanting to look like a white person, and it's more to do with their caste system of.
Oh.
In India and the Middle East, basically there's this hierarchy depending on how dark you are. And they kind of, it filters down here too. And people stay out of the sun here because they don't want to tan. Everyone's desperately trying to avoid tanning over here because they want to be as pale as possible, which is the opposite of Australia. But we grew up with people trying to be, they're getting spray
Same
on
here
tans.
as well.
Yeah. Snail serum apparently is the best skin whitening. You see everywhere here. Every shop, cosmetic shop you go
I don't
past.
need it.
Heard of that?
Yeah.
I don't need it.
No, we don't.
No,
No one needs it. Nobody needs it. Just be whatever color you are, and let's stop beating each other up about it.
Yeah, I couldn't get any whiter. I don't mean that as a flex. I'm just saying.
You're quite white. I was told once by a little girl that I was actually peach.
Oh, sure.
We did a shoot
We're all a
where
bit
we
pink.
had kids, and one of them was looking at me. She was a Malay girl, and so she was very dark. And she was kind of looking at me, scrutinizing me, then ran off to her bag where she was playing with crayons, and she went through them until she found the exact right one and ran back to me and said, "This is the color you are," and it was peach.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Adorable. The other there's another show that got episodes pulled, and I thought
Quite a few,
this
actually.
is interesting. Well, this is a little different. South Park's on HBO Max, but somebody noticed that there are 5 episodes missing, and they are the episodes that feature Muhammad.
Mate, I'm surprised only 5 South Parks are gone.
Well, it's only those ones apparently. So I was like, that's interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, we know why they don't like it when you depict the prophet.
Well, I guess
it's just a weird thing to concede at this point.
I think the difference there is all of the jokes, because South Park are famous for making fun of anybody and everybody. So they say this: we don't just hate this one class or this one race or this one social group. We will make fun of anything that we think is funny, which is how they've got away with
fun
it.
of the race or the social group. They're making fun of.
Well, sometimes they do.
Well, yeah, but they're also making fun of how
They're trying to be cleverer about it.
Yeah, and often they
generally
are.
speaking.
But
Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
they don't make jokes about how you can't depict Muhammad. They just depict Muhammad. So
yeah, they just don't give a fuck.
Yeah, so it's not that they've made a joke about, oh, isn't it funny you can't, I mean they have, but they've done it by just being like, here's Muhammad. So I can understand why that is slightly different than just, animating the Xenu myth and saying this is
Yes.
what Scientologists actually think. it feels like it is more of a middle finger.
Comedy podcast.
Luke, I've got some comedy for you.
Okay.
Luke, you're nothing if not an ideas man, right?
Mm-hmm.
I would go as far as saying an inventor of sorts. You haven't actually invented anything,
What?
but you
No, I come up with the ideas and someone else handles the details.
but you've come up with some great ideas. And I've got a new challenge for you. You wanted that controller that you controlled with your dick, and we actually had some pretty good designs for that sent in. There's another competition, not done by us. This one's done by NASA, and NASA are going to put people on the moon. They're going to keep them up there actually for a little while.
They'll do it again.
They're going to live up there, and they're going to need to use the facilities. Except there ain't no facilities, so.
I think they're overcomplicating this.
Just go wherever you want, mate. It's the moon.
No, you don't need
It's
to
got
have
some gravity.
Find a
It's got
crater.
some gravity, exactly. You're not going to have the plumbing and everything set up. Just get a bucket, away you go. You fill it up, then you take it outside and you recycle it or whatever you're going to do with it.
You take it outside and you throw it and it slowly floats away.
Yeah, look, Luke,
into space.
these are the answers they want. This is the exact kind of conversations they're having with each other right now, and they are willing to pay $35,000 of prize money to the person who comes up with the best waste management proposal for the moon.
And I'm not being silly by saying I think they're overcomplicated, because NASA have been known to do this before. Remember when they had to design a pen that would work in space, and then they asked the Russians what they did, and they went, "We just used a pencil."
Yeah.
They're doing the same thing here. They've got a very simple problem that they're overcomplicating.
You think they're going to solve? They're going to come out with this toilet, and then someone's going to go, "What do you think of that, Russia?" And Russia's going to be like,
We just shit in a bucket,
throw it into space."
It really depends on how long they're going to be.
We
there.
don't
Like,
eat while
if
we're
they're
up
gonna
there,
live-
mate. We just hold it in.
Yeah. Wait, how do they poop now? In
Okay,
space?
so they
Like,
do have toilets in the shuttles.
use those.
No, well, they're saying. Okay, let me find the quote. Let me find it. Okay, our astronauts accomplish amazing feats of science and exploration, but at the end of the day,
By pooping in space.
when you play this back, can you put something from the soundtrack of like Apollo 13 or something behind this?
Yeah, just enough, just a little bit, so that we don't get sued.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, they're still human, and we need to surprise them. I was about to say we need to provide them with the same necessities as here on Earth, so that they can continue to do their job. That's actually not the quote I'm looking for. Where's the quote that says the Lunar Loo Challenge? Yes, that's what it's called. Seeks novel design concepts for low-mass, compact toilets that can reduce the current state-of-the-art toilet mass by more than half, from 54 kilograms to 31 kilograms, and reduce the volume by 70%.
Okay, so they want to make them lighter and smaller.
How light's a bucket?
Basically, the ones on the shuttle can fill up, and it doesn't really matter. The ones that they're actually going to have...
You can stack buckets inside each other.
Yeah.
Empty your bucket. Everyone's in charge of their own bucket.
It's got your name written on it,
In feces.
so we know whose poops who.
Isn't that a subplot from The Martian?
Yeah, in The Martian, they poop and it goes into these little bags and they use it as fertilizer. I
Well,
think.
there you go. Matt,
He uses it
35. You want a $35,000 grant to develop that? You go right
Andy
ahead.
Weir's going to sue me. They've already named. They've already named this Artemis astronauts, right? That was the name of his book about the space.
Man,
the
John
moon.
Bucket's gonna sue Luke.
Andy Weir's book about the moon was called Artemis, so they've named it after him. But they haven't read the fucking first book he wrote, where they poop into little bags.
Poop in a bag. There you go.
So I think it's easier to poop into a bucket, though.
I've seen what happens when they accidentally try to open a juice box and it tears.
Oh.
So I think that these toilets need to be precision. You know what I mean?
Well, there is some gravity on the moon, isn't there?
Yeah, you're right. This is not zero grav.
Yeah.
You just so you got a
something to think
bucket.
about.
Very slow.
You got a little toilet seat on top of it. You sit on it. Then you got a little piece of plastic that sits on that you slide out. You do your business before you stand up. You do a bit of a wipe.
Wait, so it's the piece of plastic that you slide out. It's kind of like the crumbs tray on a toaster.
Exactly like that. So
Okay.
you slide that out.
no.
You do
Like a
your
bird
business,
cage.
and then you slide that back, and then you stand up, and then
Where do you slide it back to?
just over the top. So this is just like a little tray that goes over top of the bus.
Oh, it's just a covering. It's actually, so what you're describing is like one of those old-fashioned portable
Yes.
ashtrays.
Oh.
Done. Where's my
Yeah.
$35,000?
Look, listeners, if you've got an idea that you want to vet before you send directly to NASA, send them into us first. We'll read them out here on the podcast, and we'll see if we can get a
Steal
bit of a
them.
community going of just crazy ways that we could impress NASA.
With that space poop.
Yeah. Speaking of space, I went back and I watched a science fiction movie this week that we had discussed on last week's show.
Oh.
Very briefly.
Yeah.
We discussed the movie Interstellar by Christopher Nolan, just by way of mentioning that you and I, Matt, had not really liked it, despite really enjoying all of Christopher Nolan's films and his philosophies in
I
general.
liked bits of it.
And Luke, you hadn't seen it at all, right?
No, still haven't.
Yeah. I went ahead and watched it again because I just couldn't get it out of my head. And I must say, all the criticisms I had of it the first time are still there. They're still there. It's not that I noticed new things and I'm like, oh, I was wrong about that, I was wrong about this. There is still a lot to pick apart. But when I watched it without the expectation that it might be the greatest movie I've ever seen, which is certainly how I went into it, I really did enjoy this. And I think half the problem is we are far harder on Christopher Nolan than we would be on any other director, especially of science fiction. You know,
Sure.
like sci-fi people pull shit out of their ass and being like, yeah, this is just how fucking lightsaber works. And we don't just go, hold on, doesn't light continue forever? How does it stop? Is it feeding back on itself? Like, but like every little thing about Interstellar, we were just like, well, I don't think that'd happen like that. I don't think
Well,
there is
the
a
main-
fifth dimension. And I don't think Matthew
No, but
McConaughey is in it.
None of that stuff bothered me. The thing that bothered me was the main thing was that spoilers, that in the end it was love.
No, well, yeah.
What?
Yeah.
That was the only thing where it was like, there's all this science and all this weird
But here's
stuff
the
and
thing.
like fifth dimension stuff, and then but it's just communicated through love.
If
And I
they,
was like, oh,
I was okay with the ending. It was Anne Hathaway's monologue about the transcendent power of love that I think ruined it. And I think if you just removed that completely out of it and kept the ending the same, you wouldn't naturally make that assumption that like, oh, love is what's connected him.
Okay. That's why he's able to communicate with her.
Yeah, you would have just gone, okay, this
Right.
was a significant moment in his life, and therefore he is in a feedback loop on that moment while he's in that fifth dimension. Because if time was like space and you could go anywhere in it, places exist even when you're not there. Therefore, times exist even when you're not there. So he could be in a kind of feedback loop of just a significant moment between him and his daughter.
Okay.
If Anne Hathaway hadn't ruined it by just going, no, love is an actual force. It's an element. You're like, no, it's not. It's not.
It's not.
And the guy you love is dead. Sorry, spoilers. But when you get there, he's dead.
I started to say spoilers when you were talking about the fifth dimension and time, existing, like space, and then I was like, no one's going to know.
No.
If they haven't seen the film. They're
Oh,
like,
look, that's
"What
not
the
going
fuck
to...
are you
And
talking
look,
about anyway?"
even if you have seen the film and you actually know a little bit about fucking theoretical physics, it's still not a spoiler because it doesn't make any fucking sense.
Look, I'll watch it again. I do want to.
I think you should.
I did like it. I just like I said, that bit at the end soured me on it, and it made me kind of reflect badly on the stuff that came before, because I was like, really? That's where he was going with all that?
Yeah, I felt the same, but I didn't feel it so much this time. I felt like the only thing that really stood out to just be needing to be removed from the film was Anne Hathaway. But I feel that about her roles in those films.
Was one of the main characters.
I didn't
I like
actually
her
even
in,
know she was
Great
in it.
music.
Some stuff. I like Anne Hathaway sometimes.
I could take her or leave her. I don't hate her like everyone else does, and I think
She was good in.
She's a good Catwoman.
She was actually
was
the best
it?
thing about the
Okay.
fucking Tim Burton Alice in Wonderland, I think.
Oh yeah, I skipped that garbage.
She was the best thing.
You know, I was thinking about Edward Scissorhands the other day, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you
As one
remember?
does.
Do you remember when Tim Burton was one of the best directors there was, and Johnny Depp was one of the best actors there is?
Mate, I remember, I've talked about this infinite times on the show. I saw Batman at the fucking movies, Tim Burton's Batman in 1989 or whatever, and I was like, that is the greatest film I've ever seen. And then from that, I watched a behind-the-scenes thing on TV, and it was like, this is Tim Burton. He's the director.
Yeah.
And I was like, I want to be a director. And then it was like, this is Danny Elfman. He wrote the music. And I was like, okay, no, I want to do that.
Yeah.
And then it was like, this is Michael Keaton. He's like, well, I want to do that.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I want to be movies.
Making
Whereas
movies,
I remember
yeah.
going to see that at movies and people getting up and walking out.
Wow.
So weird. But then Edward Scissorhands came out, and I was like, I have to see everything that this Tim Burton person does.
And the thing is,
forever.
too, is Tim Burton is a great example of teaching you what a director is, because you're like, man, all of these films, there's something about them. They're all a bit dark. They're all a bit twisted. They're a bit quirky.
It's like a thread.
Is there like a crazy mind behind all this? And then you see this dark, twisted, quirky dude, and it's like, I'm the director. And you're like, okay, now I know what a director is.
Yeah, this dude with fucking crazy hair wearing sunglasses in the middle of the night.
But he
Like,
just
oh,
became
that's
a
clearly the
joke.
director.
It's just such a joke, and so did Johnny Depp.
Yeah.
And there's this new film out coming soon that it's called High Ground, and it's like this.
It's about Obi-Wan and Anakin.
Yeah, sorry, I'm mixing up two stories. It's not called High Ground. It's fuck, I can't remember the name of it. It's got Robert Pattinson in it as well, and it looks very good. But there's got Johnny Depp wearing weird sunglasses and a weird haircut, doing a weird voice. I was like, what is that? What is that doing there?
That's what he is. That's what he does now.
Yeah. Sorry, High Ground is another film, an Australian film that's coming out, which actually looks very good. Jack Thompson, and it's got Simon Baker in it as well. But if you look at the trailer on, it's like about Aboriginal genocides back in the colonial days and all this stuff. But all the comments under it are, oh, I wonder who Ewan McGregor plays. Like, it's just all Anakin. All Anakin stuff.
I have the high ground.
Oh, well, we'll just stop then. Mind you,
underestimate my power. What a performance.
the thing is, though, right? In movies, we often we pick on moments like that. Oh, okay, he didn't fight anymore because fucking Obi-Wan had the high ground. What does that even fucking mean? But it was only because of the execution of that made that really shit. I remember when we were making the tail job, we were doing a car crash, right? A car chase, and we wanted to know, how do you end a car chase? And the best car chase that we could think of in any movie Brian and I could come up with was Raiders of the Lost Ark, when he fucking chases that truck at the end. The Ark's on the truck. He drives another truck up, jumps on and beats up all the guys in the back, gets around, beats up the driver, and then the car with the Nazis in it, the officers, follows them, right? How do they get away? So I rewatched it. You know how they get away? The car skids and the chase music stops and the We Got Away music starts and you just know that they got away.
And that's it.
That's it, right? It's all in the execution.
That's the secret.
Yeah.
Spielberg. Genius.
We're probably pushing on the hour, but we did have a couple of celebrity deaths last week that it's going to be old news if we don't mention them.
Yeah, and this one, it's a shame we missed this last week because this was sort of breaking as we were recording and we sort of...
Yeah.
But Joel Schumacher.
Yeah.
Gonzo.
Famous for Batman.
Yeah, but here's the thing, right? Because Joel Schumacher gets a lot of shit because he made arguably the worst Batman movies ever made. Ever. They're awful. They're fucking awful. And I watched some clips online the other day of the ones that he did. I remember Batman and Robin being bad, but in my head, Batman Forever was actually not too bad. It's not.
Yeah,
it's,
I remembered that
It's fucking great. Yeah, sorry, it's fucking awful. It's
Yeah.
fucking
That was the
awful.
first one for him to have nipples, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. And she touches him. Yeah. Chase Meridian, she touches
Nicole
him.
Kidman.
Yeah. No, it's awful. But I'd just like to remind people that Joel Schumacher has made some really, really good movies too,
Oh, yeah.
albeit a long time ago. St. Elmo's Fire was his first film, and it's a classic. Followed that up with The Lost Boys, which is also a classic. Then, a couple of years later, he made a film that I saw when it first came out, scared the shit out of me, and I never watched it again until today, when I decided to give Flatliners another look. And I've got to
Did he
say...
direct Flatliners?
Yeah, and it's fantastic. And you should go back and watch this. There's been a
I've seen
remake.
that in a long time.
Ignore it. right? Just generic movie number 72. The original Flatliners. Great concept and just beautifully executed. For starters, it happens in some kind of post-apocalyptic world. I mean, they don't say that. It's supposed to just be the world. But the way it's art directed, everything's got scaffolding on it. Every vent's got smoke coming out of it. Everything's got a red backlight on it. Everything's derelict. You don't know if something's is halfway being constructed or halfway to be torn down. Their medical school is in an old, dilapidated church just because of the symbolism of surgeons playing God. Right. You know, there's statues everywhere. It's like really cool.
You know, the last time I saw that, I would have been a young teenager. Mm-hmm. And so I probably...
Yeah, I feel like it too.
Probably would have missed a lot of what it was. Like, I enjoyed it back then, but I probably didn't understand it as much as I would now. So maybe I should go back and watch that one.
I seem to recall seeing trailers for it at some point at the theater. I don't recall when I actually watched it. But Kiefer Sutherland, right?
Yep.
Yes. Oh, it's the whole Brat Pack. Kiefer Sutherland.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Julia Roberts in one of her earliest roles.
Oh.
And what's the guy with the weird pig nose from the 80s? You know.
Pig nose?
Kevin Bacon. Come on, he's got a good actor, but he's got a weird pig nose.
His name's Bacon.
You know what's funny too? Like I was on a little bit of a kick this week of watching either movies I had never seen from that period, late 80s, early 90s, or movies that I had seen and had no memory of. And there was another one I watched that I actually don't think I had seen at all. Single White Female. Now I'm sure you're familiar with this movie, right?
That's the Madonna one, isn't it?
No. That's Body of Evidence. Single White Female is Bridget Fonda and Jennifer Jason Leigh, right? Now, I hadn't seen this before, but I was very familiar, or I thought I was, with the plot. When I say single white female,
I'm trying to think of what it's about. It's an advertisement for a lodger or something.
Yeah,
right?
for a roommate, housemate.
Yeah.
But if somebody said to you, like, oh, somebody's pulling a single white female on me.
Oh, like a identity theft.
Yeah, right? That's what I've always thought. It's not.
No?
She dresses up like her, does her hair like her and all of that stuff because she wants to be her twin sister. She had a twin sister who died and she tries to make other women her twin. And I was like, fucking 35 years everyone's been like, single white female's identity theft. It's not. It's just not.
All right.
Good movie, though. That's another one where it's just like, it's supposed to be New York, but it's like everything's got a backlight on it and, you know, everything's got creepy shadows. Yeah, I love the way they made movies back then. I watched Razorback, too, during the week. Russell Mulcahy's...
Razorback.
You seen Razorback?
The
pig movie.
That's the pig one? Yeah.
Killer Pig. Yeah.
Yeah. I know of it.
Done.
Is that the guy from The Howling? No.
No, I don't.
Who's the guy from The Howling 3 who's like, in the scene you're being raped by monsters?
Oh.
Who was that guy?
Yes. Oh, fuck. What is his name? You're being gang raped by monsters.
Yeah, he's like a director.
Yeah.
Anyway, it doesn't matter.
Oh, no, I know who you mean, though. Howling 3.
But at the end of that, Joel Schumacher, Geek of the Week.
Well, we've got another potential Geek of the Week, Ian Holm.
Yeah.
So, I mean, how do you feel about Ian Holm, Luke?
What do I know of Ian Holm?
Oh, for fuck's sake, come on. You know Ian Holm. He's Ash from Alien. He's Bilbo from Lord of the Rings.
I don't care for Lord of the Rings.
You like Alien, though.
I like Alien, though. I actually started watching that the other day.
Just imagine...
He's in fucking everything.
Imagine him drowning in milk.
That's how he died.
That's how he went.
Ironically.
That's how he wanted to go.
God, he's been in a lot of stuff.
He was the surgeon in From Hell who was Jack the Ripper. Spoilers.
Spoilers for that movie, that comic, syphilis. And that conspiracy theory.
Yeah, exactly. He was basically in every movie. He's not the main character.
Yeah, he's been in everything since 1957.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Including a lot of our beloved franchises.
I bought what I thought was the trade paperback of From Hell a couple of years ago.
Oh, yeah.
I found it online. I was like, fuck, this is cheap. I'm snapping this up. And then issue 1 arrived at my house, and I was like, oh.
Oh, no. I've got... I don't know how I can miss it. It's fucking huge. It's over there somewhere.
Mm.
So you choose Joel Schumacher over Ian Holm.
Well, we're allowed to have more.
Surprises me, actually.
Are we allowed to have more Geek of the Weeks than one?
Geeks of the Week.
It's Geek of the Week.
Well, I don't know, mate. You make the rules.
Yeah.
See, I don't know. He's sort of losing me with the whole Lord of the Rings stuff.
Not a geek, not enough of a geek because he was in Lord of the Rings.
Yeah. He's not a geek, he's more of a nerd, to be honest.
But then Alien. No, he can be Geek of the Week as well.
Okay, Geeks
2
of the Week.
winnings.
Right. I'll just play the jingle twice.
Mm. Matt, is there a geekdom word for people that specifically like Tolkien and Lord of the Rings?
That's a good question. I'm sure there are.
There must be a
there
word
is.
for that. Must be a term, right?
Middle
Nerds.
Earthers or something? Or
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not one of them.
Ringos?
Ringos. That's a good one.
I'm definitely not a Ringo.
Frodonis?
Shit.
I love the Fellowship, not the extended editions, because I think there's a reason all that shit didn't make it into the cinema cut.
No, there's some good stuff
is
in the
great.
extended editions.
And the second one is maybe even better. I thought the third one tapered off, and
I like
the
Return of
Hobbit
the King.
is garbage.
Yeah, I love all the Lord of the Rings films. Love them. The Hobbit, agreed, garbage. I don't. It's just like a completely different filmmaker made.
It's like someone is trying to do
I don't know what happened
a Peter
to him.
Jackson fan film.
I don't know what the fuck happened to
I
him.
know.
I'm still sort of finding it weird how it's done. To me, they would have done The Hobbit first and done that as one movie to sort of test it all out, gauge
Maybe
the water,
2 if you had to.
and then you go and make Lord of the Rings and do the 3 large ones.
Yeah.
But they just went the other way, but decided to make the smaller book into 3 movies about nothing.
Yep, because they like money.
Money is good. But yeah, I would have done it the other way.
Mm-hmm.
But what do I know?
I actually also would have thought you might have an easier time convincing a studio to let you make The Hobbit than convincing them to do 3 back-to-back Lord of the Rings. Because the Hobbit's much more palatable.
Unless the dragon sounds more complicated than what you get in Lord of the Rings. They might
An
even like,
army of
dragon, How are you
orcs.
going to do that? Yeah.
Oh, I didn't like the way they did the dragon.
No, I didn't like any of the action sequences in The Hobbit. I told you something. It's just fucking ridiculous. It's all just like slapstick and
the Hobbit's a
coincidence. Like the only reason the dwarves are alive is because they just coincidentally fall into a mining pit as it goes by. It's fucking stupid.
Oh, that whole sequence is. But here's the thing: there's bad movies out there that don't annoy me. This annoys me because it doesn't have to be bad. It's
because Peter Jackson used to be fucking excellent. He made excellent films in the same series as these films. And now I'm like,
just
what are you
doing?
doing?
The same. Just make them like them.
Yeah.
I actually
Don't
thought
understand.
maybe it had just been years since I'd seen The Lord of the Rings, and maybe I was wrong, and maybe they were not as good as I remember. And I watched them again because they were on Netflix.
Mm-hmm.
And 5 minutes into Fellowship, I'm like, no, this is a great movie. Like, there's a reason why this was so good.
Yep.
And The Hobbit's... Anyway.
Garbage.
I watched the first one, and that was it.
Third one's the worst.
Well, yeah, the first Hobbit?
I'm
or the
talking
first
about Lord of the Rings.
The third Hobbit
Oh,
is
man.
the
You haven't even
worst.
seen Schmeagol
The
then.
worst.
You can't fucking criticize. You haven't seen the good bits.
Who's Schmeagol?
Exactly.
Schmeagol? He's not into Lord of the Rings, clearly.
I don't get fantasy. I really don't. I try, but it's not for me. I need
You know where all
lasers,
you-
Nodo Baggins.
spaceships and shit.
You know where I act out my fantasies? In the after party.
That's all for this week. Thank you for listening and we hope you enjoyed the show. If you enjoyed it then please subscribe in iTunes to receive episodes automatically. We'll see you next time.